going on, everybody? Good morning. It's Friday. We made it. Seemed like it would never come.
It has been a
Man.
very, very long week. Your boy over here is dragging ass, but I see everyone in the chat and it's giving me life this morning. So good morning to everyone in here. Excited to talk some Buckeye football this morning. How you doing, Q?
I'm good, man. My alarm went off, and I was like, maybe. When the second one went off, and I was like, all right, it's time to get up. It's time to get with the gang. Of course, love hanging out with y'all in the morning. See, Preston, Craig was in here early. He was in here early. It wasn't even 8 o'clock yet. So I was like, all right, we got to get in here. So what up, Chris Drew? Big Earn, I see you. Posh was good. Good morning. What y'all drinking this morning? What y'all got? I just got some water to get hydrated. But man, we got a great show for y'all. So let me go ahead and preview that. Before I do that, go ahead and hit that like. Let's get this algo going early. Let's push the show. That way we can get out there and everybody can enjoy this morning goodness we got for them. Yeah, man. So today, obviously, NFL preseason. CJ and JSN played last night. We're going to talk about that. We got a commitment this weekend. So we're going to touch on a little bit of recruiting, some black stripes. Obviously, we're taking off. So on the offensive line, of course, we'll talk about that. And the quarterbacks talk, Tim Walton talk. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, man, that's what we got going on for you today. Can't wait to jump into it. Ron, man, you ready for today's show, man? You look a little lost over there. You better, come on, people need you to get
I'm
going.
trying to lock in. I'm trying to find the energy, but I'm here. We here. Let's talk some CJ Stroud. Last night. We were doing some show prep. I'm walking around my house. I didn't even know the game started, and I'm getting pinged already. And the guys from the spaces were letting us hear it with that first CJ Stroud interception. So I just want to get your thoughts. Are you worried about CJ after one bad throw, or is it just the preseason?
Well, give me 1 second, CJ, because I love you, but I love my guy Chris Drew more. Chris Drew's in here early. Happy first Super Chat Friday. We in here. Appreciate you, Chris Drew. So yeah, man. But CJ, no, he really doesn't worry me, man. Obviously only played 2 drives, just first couple games. So 2-4. Probably had a little bit of struggle. I seen that pick, man. It looked like he just threw it to nobody. I was like, what's he doing? But man, he'll be fine. It's NFL preseason. He ain't playing on the best team. I was giving you second overall pick. So he's gonna have a little bit of struggle, but hey, CJ will be all right. He'll be all right. So can't wait to get it going. He'll be fine. And obviously, JSN, let me go ahead and touch on him. JSN, 3 catches, 25 yards. Like, let me know in the chat. But JSN was looking a little freaky when he was having the catches over the middle. I was like, oh, all right, I'm gonna hold y'all down while Ron gets back. He just threw me a text. So you got hold on. Let me get the big screen in here. Can I get the big screen? There we go. All right, y'all rolling with me right now. So Ron gets back. But yeah, so CJ played well. He did. I mean, not CJ. Jason played all right. He did decent, not too bad. But couple catches. So let me know what y'all think of the preseason. Buckeyes coming in early. Let me know how they played. So we got CJ. But let me go ahead and jump into this recruiting news, man. So I'm gonna go long-winded, give Ron a minute to get back. We got a commitment this weekend from Jeremiah McClellan, 4-star receiver. Man, we'd have heard about this dude since like what was it? About 5, 6, well, maybe not that long. Like 4 or 5 months ago, talking about he was leading Buckeye. He was leaning Buckeyes. So he was going in. Obviously, when I add his wide receiver class, we got 2 in the fold. We got 2 5-stars, and my guy is back. So there he is. We got 2 5-stars. We're looking to add him. Obviously, when he plays, he looks like Jeremiah McClellan Paris Campbell. He looks like Paris Campbell to me. So another guy we got to get in the fold. Commitment is on the 13th. So to add that third wide receiver, but it's another offensive commit, man. So I ain't worried. If it's a defense commit, I'm like, man, I don't know about this one, but as offense commit, I feel confident Brian Harline's got it. I got Ron back in here. There he is. Ron, happy to be joined by you again this morning. But yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, I can hear you. You good?
What did I miss? Since I was busy over here playing soccer with my power strip and kicking my whole setup unplugged, I just saw computer locking and I was like, what's going on? And just everything just went out. So that was cool. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
You all right? No, I touched on the rookies, and then I was touching on recruiting. So tell them Jeremiah McClellan, four-star receiver, really is really us in Missouri as far as I've heard. But we've been training for this guy for a minute, so definitely go ahead and lock this down, lock this wide receiver class down. Me and you were actually watching his highlights yesterday, and he reminds me of Paris Campbell when he's actually moving and getting the ball in space and running down the sideline a little bit. So definitely excited about him. But do you think he comes here, or do you think Missouri might pull him away?
So I was convinced this was a Buckeye lock until I'm about to go to bed last night and I see Jay Wimbrow, the media director for South Florida Express, post a picture that says soon with the Buckeye emoji, and it's a photo with Carnell Tate, Brandon Innes, and Josiah Trader. So in my head, I'm thinking my theory has always been if we get JoJo, it will be because all of the Ravens choose to come to Ohio State. That means Zaquan Patterson. That means Chance Robinson. That means JoJo Trader. So that gave me a second for pause when I saw that picture last night. I don't know if Jay's just stirring the internet up on a Thursday night, or is that something to really look into? Because if McClellan's in the class, do you have room for two more receivers? I feel like there was always room for JoJo. I don't know where they are with Chance. He just recently got an offer in the last month. I don't know if that's pushing Jeremiah McClellan's hands. So I was very confident going into this, but that gave me a little bit of pause going into this recruitment and commitment.
Yeah, and I think you take McClellan, man. He's a little bit different guy, speedy guy. Definitely get the ball in space and sort of be that kind of dude. And then I would pair JoJo after that. And if really he wants to play offense or defense eventually, that would roll with my forward, and I'd be like, all right, let's do it. Turn either of them down. Those would be my preferred. But yeah, man, definitely excited. Obviously, again, it's on the 13th, so it's trending us. We'll see. Chris said Mizzou is pitching them to be the man there, which obviously that opportunity is open. So we will see, man. Comes down these recruiting
Well,
battles. You never know how they're gonna go.
one of my biggest concerns, though, is your favorite phrase.
Oh, he's too fast to play here.
Might be too fast to play here. I mean, he's a blur on the screen. That guy can really move. And you know us, we're not big on those speedsters. JMO
Yeah,
had to transfer out. So
yeah.
we'll see what happens there. He may be too fast to play here, but I hope not.
Yeah, Mookie dipped out too, man. I don't know. A lot of speed just walks out the building for some odd reason. So hopefully he's not. But since we're on recruiting, obviously got some people to touch on. So Edric Houston is the guy we want to touch on. We want to make sure he's still in the running. So I go by my Ron because he gets all the inside info. So Ron, how we doing on Edric Houston?
So, so there's this guy, Steve Wiltfong, right? He
Mm-hmm.
used to be the best in the game, and when he put in a crystal ball, it meant something. When he spoke, it meant something. These recruits are making a complete mockery of Steve Wiltfong this recruiting cycle, lying to this man, and Wiltfong is scrambling to keep that 92% on 247 because he's putting those crystal balls in while the kids are in front of the microphone, like, oh, now, like 2 minutes before the announcement, like, is that really a crystal ball prediction, or is that someone petty spoiling a kid's commitment to be right for a percentage on their website? But Wiltfong is coming out and saying that he still likes the Buckeyes for Edric Houston. Normally, that would give me confidence. Right now, a little bit of concern because this man, Wiltfong, has been whiffing as much as Miami recruiting.
I remember we had the show set up for Lightfoot and literally changed his crystal ball 2 minutes before the show, and we're just like, oh Lord, we got a show. We're about to ride all this momentum, and it's gone because we thought he was coming here.
I,
So
I was super excited. We got a call up to the big leagues. We're on the Menace platform with Chris Drew for the corner. I'm like, oh man, we're
mhm.
going big time. We're going Hollywood. We're about to have a party. And then Wiltfong switches the crystal ball, and then we're all sitting in the pre-production like, well, we still
Lord.
have to go live.
Yeah, there goes that. There goes the half of that show. Oh man, that's too funny. But yeah, man. So that pretty much wraps up our recruiting news. Let me see what the chat is talking about over here. And also, don't forget, man, like that video, share. Shout out to Doreen, man. She's on the timeline every morning, sharing the video, letting people know where to find us. So we greatly appreciate it. We getting that advertising budget ready for you. We gonna see how much you're asking for. Well, let me see. So let me see if Craig says if they pull Patterson, I forgive Perry for fumbling his cousin. We're not forgiving Perry for fumbling his cousin. He does not get a pass for that. But no, definitely got to go get Patterson. Let me see. Yeah, Chris is cussing out Steve Wilfong in here. Let me see. Buckeye Eric, he's not coming. He's going to Bama. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going on, man. He's talking about Edric Houston. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the black stripe situation. So we had a couple black stripes removed, and obviously both on the offensive line, which is very important for us. So Vic Cutler, Jimmy Simmons, who
Jimmy Simmons,
who I thought was John Simons. Going by different names. I feel like this is just like I feel like he's like doing something illegal, so he just changes his name just slightly so people don't know who he is.
We find out we got a scammer at center.
Yeah, like we're looking for John Simons. Well, I'm Jimmy Simmons, or whatever his name is.
So, they heard about that $2 million Jim Knowles was getting, and they're like, "Yeah, we're about to come tap into that bank account."
He goes to NIL, and he's like, "Yeah, this is John Simons," and then goes and gets a mustache and comes back as Jimmy Simmons.
Johnny Manziel. He got the Johnny Manziel Vegas blackjack table disguise on. Blonde wig and a mustache for Jimmy Simmons at practice today.
All right, let's get serious, man. So Jimmy Simmons and Vic Cutler both got their black stripes removed. Both transfers in, very important. Good Lord. Simons is going to play one of the tackle spots. You definitely would have to believe Vic Cutler is battling out at center. One, how important is it that their black stripes removed early in camp, so we know they're definitely playing good ball? Two, do you think either of these guys will start, and which position do you think? Because Cutler can play guard, he can play tackle. I don't think he's going to start at guard, but definitely center. And then Simons is either right tackle or left tackle. So let me know.
I'm kind of confused, bro, because the coaching staff has me in a blender right now. I don't even know why they're having these interviews because, like, they're giving us nothing. Like, oh, everyone's trying. We're giving everyone a chance. It's a rotation. Nothing's locked in. But I'd like to know by next Thursday. It's like, what? Like, is it really a battle, or are you just, like, feeding us spin? I think if anyone has a chance to play, I think it'll be Jimmy Simmons in that tackle rotation. I think Vic will be behind Carson Hinsman this year. But, I mean, they alluded to that might not be a guaranteed lock with Carson in there. I feel like they're trying to keep everyone on their toes early in the camp season. But I think with his size and athleticism, the playing experience that he had last year as a true freshman, I think Jimmy Simmons is the one that's most likely to get that playing time. I'm just not sure who they're most comfortable with on the left and right because they're not really giving us much indication of who's really taking a step in that battle. So I'm not sure if I'm ready to commit to Jimmy at left or right tackle, but I feel like he's going to come out victorious in that tackle battle at one of the ends.
Yeah, I always thought Simons was going to be that left tackle and moving Fryer over to right. That's what I would win. He's a more athletic guy. And obviously, Fryer, maybe not quite as athletic, but when he did play right tackle, he did play pretty decently. So that's where I would go. As far as Cutler, I don't know. It seems like Carson Hinsman really has that center spot kind of locking down. It looks like, and he's the younger guy. So obviously he's playing well. So we will see there. But it's just very important that the offensive line is playing well, man. We talked about it most of the offseason. That's the position group I'm most worried about as far as winning a championship. So we're gonna see what happens, but definitely big time news for both guys. So now let's hop over to interviews. But before we do that, we got 22 people in here. Make sure y'all like that video. Share, you get a chance. Get some more people in here. We got to get some more morning people up in here. And also don't forget, we did a Johnny Football doc the other day. It's actually trending pretty well because I think more people are starting to see it. So check that out if you have time. That was a good time. And
our 15-minute, 52-minute stream.
Yeah, yeah. That was Ron's fault. It's supposed to be 15 minutes. Ron just kept talking. So we couldn't get it. And I see Travis in the chat with a OHIO. I got you. So yeah, man. So speaking of people who don't really give much on interviews, one of my favorite interviewees is Tim Walton because he never gives me anything to talk
Nothing
about.
but coach speak.
Nothing but coach speak. But he did talk. So I'm gonna ask you, what did you get from Tim Walton as far as his cornerback room? And do you feel like these corners are ready for a level up?
I didn't get much, but I'm not sure if this is the narrative they're pushing or if this is really how they feel. Tim's interview sounded very similar to Perry. Um, he believes his guys are playing much faster and processing this defense significantly better, having been in the system for 2 years. This is a lot of these guys first year in the or first year having consistency as far as no defensive coaching changes, no coordinator changes. So seeing these guys comfortable in the system, I know a lot of the guys talked about understanding what Jim Knowles is going to call understanding things situationally pre-snap and not just covering routes. So that development and that mental jump that they're making, I'm hoping that it translates on the field and we're able to see these guys flying around because there's been an emphasis on processing faster and being able to move faster on the field, giving that comfortability with the system.
Yeah, he did talk a lot about that. He talked about a little bit of eye discipline and guys just getting better at their fundamentals, being in the system longer, and guys just developing. Like I say, he never gives much, but what I did read into it is his confidence in this group. Along with Perry Eliano, they both felt like their groups can play. And like I said, I'm thinking corner is probably going to be 4 deep at least. So definitely he has the guys to do it. Definitely looking forward to the transfers in. Obviously, Nelson coming in and things like that. So he feels like this group is in a good spot. So, and obviously, my opinion was also Tim Walton kind of got ran on last season a little bit, but from the corners at the beginning of the year to the end of the year, I felt like they made a big jump. They were playing well at the end of the year. They were not the liability. So definitely trusting Tim Walton to get it done. So player interviews. First was Igbinosun. Go ahead and let me know what you got from his interview and where do you feel like he's going to end up playing?
I'm glad you asked that last question because one of the last notes that we had on Tim Walton is that he said that he's still moving guys around and still figuring things out. We got a lot of contradictory information yesterday from these player interviews because I feel like some of them were talked to the SID before they went out there and were prepped up on what to say, and some of them went out there and talked. And I mean, Iggy told us after they changed his position to safety on the roster, he's not repping at nickel. He's only repping outside. And then when they talked to Denzel Burke, they asked him, who are the two starting corners? And he's like, I can't tell you that. And they asked him, is that because you don't know or because you're not allowed to share that information? He said, because I'm not allowed to share that information. So how does Tim Walton not know who the starting corners are? But Denzel Burke does. I'm interested to see what comes of this open practice because if they're still trying to hide things from the media, if they're playing games, or if these guys are really repping at the positions that they're saying they're repping at. So I'm interested to hear what that starting lineup looks like, that back five, who are the outside corners, who are the three safeties, because we have Igbinosun, we bring him in from Ole Miss to play corner. We list his position as safety. Everybody's talking Igbinosun at the nickel, Igbinosun at the nickel. And this camp, he's only been repping at outside corner. So that was my biggest takeaway from his interview. And then they really hammered home on what he's been learning from Tim Walton since getting here. And he said the emphasis on his eyes and being more disciplined. So I thought that was really interesting to hear as far as one of the things he's really developing since getting here.
Yeah, man. Just to follow that, I'm right with you. They did list him as safety. Everyone thought he was going to play that inside corner, but I'm like, this dude 6'1", 200. You want him guarding a Marv size receiver. You want him guarding that bigger receiver on the outside. Why would he play inside and have to deal with slot guys? I don't know. That's where I would have put Jordan Hancock, who did say he was doing some reps as inside corner. So the point is, Q was always right, basically. Always right. They watched.
Sorry, my audio cut out there. What happened?
No, it didn't.
Did you say something?
No. Oh, okay. I learned yesterday in Big Homie Space. You can hear what I'm saying before I have to drop you. So, like I said, Q's always right. But yeah, that's what I expected. Burke, Igbenos on the outside, Hancock on the inside. So I'll go ahead and jump into Hancock's interview. So let's jump over there. He did say he was fully healed. He did say he was cross training. What did you get from Jordan Hancock's interview?
That he's not the starting outside corner locked in. I mean, if this was, they're talking about like this is written in blood, like that Jordan Hancock's the outside corner. This man did not seem like he was aware of what position he was going to be playing this year. He's cross training at nickel. He's cross training at corner. He said he's comfortable in both places. So yeah, again, this is like it was a very weird day of interviews because we sat with a playlist of all 9 interviews, and someone would say something, and then the next guy would get up there and be like, that's interesting. So I feel like we're gonna really get a clear idea of what's going on in that secondary today with the second open practice. I don't think they're playing games right now or disguising things from the media. Guys need to start repping at the positions that they're going to be playing. So I'm interested to see where guys are lined up at camp today.
Same here. It's just good to have Hancock back fully healthy. It's been a couple years. I mean, I remember the recruitment battle of us getting Hancock and what's the one dude, RJ Young. I was arguing with RJ Young on the timeline. I was like, bro, we're going because he was talking about Jordan Hancock. I'm like, yo, you know we're gonna flip Jordan Hancock, right? He was like, I've never seen a commit flip from Clemson ever. It's never happened, and until it happens, I will not admit that it could possibly be a possibility. And 2 Clemson commits flipped that summer, both Corey Foreman and Jordan Hancock. So I was right. He never gave me my credit either. I was up there.
Probably blocked your ass, bro.
Yeah. Me and this other dude was both in the timeline like, bro, we told you. Just give us our credit. He never talked back to me after that. So it is what it is. RJ Young, I still want my apology. But let me get back on. So Denzel Burke is our other guy. And Denzel Burke talked. He seems confident, but he has some interesting things to say. I will throw it over to you. They did ask him who had the best interception of the offseason run. Let us know what he said.
So they asked that question to quite a few of the backs, and Denzel had an interesting answer. He said, I don't know who had the best interception, but I had the only touchdown. So that was one of the questions that we had in our stats prediction episode was there's a lot of emphasis on the fact that our corners didn't have any interceptions last year. So they're looking to get their hands on the ball this year. And it's good to hear that Denzel was taking things back to the house. And then our goofy ass beat writers, using their credentials to best use, asked him, who threw the interception, as if he would fucking answer. He's like, you guys are tripping. Like, are you serious? Like, you're not talking to a freshman. You're talking to one of the leaders on this defense. Like, you think he's going to throw the quarterback who threw an interception under the bus during an unannounced quarterback battle? Like, just pure goofiness with those microphones when they get in front of players sometimes. So that was one of my biggest takeaways. But like, the confidence was just exuding from Denzel during that interview. It sounds like a guy that is really, really, really locked in. He put an emphasis on focusing on transforming his body this year and really taking care of his diet and just really locked in. And like, you could hear the confidence in the way that he spoke. And he talked, and that was something else that he talked about, just his overall confidence and how important that is for a corner. So I'm really excited for the season that Denzel Burke's going to have, because he just seems like he's ready to roll. He's heard the talk this offseason. We can guarantee that. So I think he has a big season ahead of him.
Yeah, man, you said all there. And I actually want to ask a couple questions to the chat. So obviously we didn't have really any interceptions last season from the secondary. I want to ask, as a secondary, over under 6 interceptions this season. It's not a crazy number. So I do want to know the over under. And then I also have a second question, because I forgot to touch on this. Igbenos said he was locking up Marv one-on-one. It's a 50-50 battle. He said he can guard Marv. I forgot to mention that a second ago.
Cap.
So I want to ask the chat also, is that fact or is that cap? Now, I'm actually going to go on the side of maybe fact. Maybe I can see it a little bit, all right? This dude's big. He's physical. He can deal with Marv's physicality. And also, last season, Marv did not create a lot of separation. It was straight ball skills that how he was beating players on. get a guy around his size. Maybe he has a little struggle with that. So maybe it's actually fact, and you're like, okay, we got a player here. I can believe it a little bit. He's got the size, not gonna get pushed around. I don't know where Igbenogsen's ball skills is at, but if he can do that decently, he might be a guy who can actually lock Marv up. And like Chris Drew saying in the chat, Marv is not physical at the line. And Igbenogsen, nothing but physical at the line. So I want to ask y'all, is that factor cap and over under 6 interceptions? Let me know. Talking to Denzel Burke, and one thing I pulled from Denzel Burke too that was funny is they said they don't talk trash to the wide receivers like that. He was like, it's pretty quiet. I don't know. That worries me a little bit. I want some jawing back and forth. I want a little edge from this team. So that's one thing I heard. That I was like, nah, like like Tim Walton and Brian Hartline need to get on y'all. Y'all need to be talking trash to each other. Somebody's got to win or loser day. Somebody's got to get it better. I want to hear the chirping back and forth.
Yeah, so they asked one. I forget which corner they asked. They asked which person. I think it might have been Denzel. They asked which corner or which wide receiver talks the most, and he said the zone 6 guys are quiet. They don't really say much, which is interesting. That those guys just go out there, ball, line back up, and do it again.
Yeah. No, 100% facts. So we had a couple more interviews, but let me see what the chat is talking about. Yeah, man, appreciate y'all joining us on a Friday. Starting your Friday with the weekend is started for us. We all in here. So appreciate y'all joining. We'll touch on y'all. Don't forget to like that video. Got 26 people in here. We're trying to hit that over 30 mark before we get out of here. So appreciate you helping us out on that. So Travis says, I'm gonna take over 6 interceptions this season. Hopefully we can get there. We need to get there, man. I'm tired of BIA not picking people off and seeing the ball going the other way. So most definitely be true. I know somebody had a prediction here. Let me see. Touch on my guy Wayne.
Death had a prediction that I want to talk about. He said, Iggy and Jermaine, make this guy the corners coach now. Because that's who I'm trying to see out there. We need to get our boy Jermaine Matthews some reps this year.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And then Wayne Taylor says a concern of mine is with all the attention Marvin Harrison Jr. Is going to get. I don't think he will get anything less than a double coverage. Yeah, so the other receivers are going to have to feast. Well, luckily enough, he's got another Blendikoff awardee final or not finalist. Was it? What do they call them in the preseason? Watch list. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, there we go.
Watch list guy, not finalist yet. Will be finalist. We hope so, but he's got other guys around him, so definitely believe if they do want to double him, that's your ass because there's other guys who can make plays, so make decisions. But yeah, man, keep weighing in, keep hitting that over under 6 interceptions. Let me know, and let's move on. So we got a couple other guys. Ryan Turner. Ryan Turner has kind of been the forgotten guy. I think I might be the only one on this show who's mentioned Ryan Turner. I only did it once.
He came out for his interview, and I was like, I don't think we've been doing this podcast since March. I don't think I've ever said his name on the show, either Buckeye BS or the Buckeye Roast. So it was nice to hear from him and, hear about his progression through his freshman year. And says he's comfortable everywhere. And like every player on our defense, JTT told me he was repping at nickel too. So I think we're going to have 11 nickels out there and no one else playing defense. So it's just interesting to hear where people are repping. They claim that he's doing well. So I'm interested to see who's actually playing nickel because at this point, if they told me Ryan Day was the starting nickel, I would go for it because I have no idea what's going on at the position at this point.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I've heard he's had a super solid offseason. He's gotten a lot better this offseason, so that was good news. And it was nickel from him, which I heard him and Jair Brown was repping a lot of the nickel over the summer. So interested to see him actually get on the field and get some game time and actually if this guy can play. So definitely looking forward to him. Hope he gets the opportunity. But man, he's looking good. He's looking like he gained some size. So we will see what he can do on the field. So let's move over. You got Jair Brown, which
the best interview that we watched by far. If we were ranking the interviews from yesterday, there's Jair Brown number 1, and then everyone else maybe falling in around 24, 25. What are you thinking? Best interview we saw yesterday?
Definitely for you. I know that much, and you can go ahead and tell us why.
He was asked about our guy Malik Hartford and said he's grown a ton. He's super smart. His motor is relentless. Are we on to something here? We're now through 2 days of interviews, and there's one guy that they keep talking about, and it's Malik Hartford. Is this guy going to play this year? Like, are we sleeping on the possibility that we could see a true freshman start at one of these positions, whether it be nickel or free safety?
Yes, we are sleeping because he's not starting at free safety or nickel. We got 4 safeties that
Then
can
wake
play.
up!
I'm actually wide awake. We got 4 days that can play. I don't think he quite cracks the rotation, but like I said the other day, it's good news. He's coming along very early. He's going to get some time, especially when we start blowing out teams like Indiana. No disrespect to Indiana though, but when we have garbage time and we're playing against those guys, obviously he can get some game time, get some reps. We can see what he can do. And like you mentioned the other day, these Ohio guys in the secondary, and Des just mentioned, I see they're coming along, man. Talk about Jermaine Matthews, Malik Hartford. Like we got a couple more coming in next season. It's exciting to have this. Could we have an all Ohio secondary in a couple years? Jair Brown, another Ohio guy.
Fingers crossed. I
Yeah,
think it's possible. I think the Ohio kids could be the ones that bring BIA back.
Yeah, man, we'll have to see, but that's definitely exciting. But yeah, man, no, Jair Brown, he's grown a lot. He's gonna be a factor this season. He did also say he had the best interception of the off season, so everybody was trying to get that claim. But Chris Drew, don't get banned in the chat. I see you over there rapping. You need to calm down. All right, you know whose chat this is. Might get put out.
No, I see what Chris is saying. Fuck Indiana. Before we get on to this last interview with Lorenzo Styles, I want to talk about a question that they asked almost every corner. They asked about the freshman wide receivers. All of the corners they asked about the freshman wide receivers. And there was one name that came out first every single time. Carnell Tate. Denzel Burke went as far as to say he's the next great one. So I just want to get your thoughts on that. And he also had a very interesting comment about Brandon Inniss. He's going to be good, but he's got a ways to go, which is interesting to hear. He enrolled in the summer. He wasn't able to early enroll. I know his school doesn't allow early enrollment, so he finished out his senior year, and he's on campus now getting into the swing of things. But to hear that Carnell is still just going crazy is great.
Yeah, man, which is actually crazy because Chris and Zach on Minutes told me Carnell Tate wasn't any good.
They actually said Ohio State should stop recruiting him, and he's the worst wide receiver that they've ever seen.
Shouldn't even bring him in because he's got no talent at all. That's what somebody told me on the timeline. But no, man, I'll give them credit, as they said on that show, dude's extremely talented. He needed to come in and work. And it seemed like he's done nothing but come in and work since spring ball. He's been vibing. He's been up there. Everybody's been talking about him. Carnell Tate has put in the work over summer. We develop players the best in the country. You know what Hardline does. So, I mean, obviously, he's catching on pretty fast. He's growing into position, and you love to hear it. And all these freshman wide receivers, they've all gotten credit. And I'm going to give a shout out to my guy, Bryson Rodgers. We haven't heard Bryson Rodgers a lot mentioned like with the other guys, but when he was the first receiver to commit and we committed, watch his highlights, I was like, bro, this dude can play. He's got good route running. He's got ball skills. He's got speed. He needs to put on some size, but he can play too. So let me throw my guy some flowers because I'm expecting big things from him as well. But it's definitely good to hear Carnell Tate. We know he's dealing with. So the fact that he's on the field, he's balling out and just trying to stay focused and keep his mind off things. More power to him. I can't wait to see him ball this season.
For sure.
Yeah, man. So that was the wide receivers, but we did have a former wide receiver coming from Notre Dame over here, and he's now in the corner room. That is Lorenzo Styles, and that was an interview I actually made us watch. Ron was like, "Man, come on, man, I'm trying." I was like, "No, we're watching this one."
We were watching the player interviews on Discord last night, so a little peek behind the curtain. We do our pre-prod at 11:30 at night because that makes sense.
As late as possible.
Me and Q are like normally dozing off on the Discord or in the StreamYard as we're writing the show out. And I'm like, we're 8 interviews in. It is 12:30. I want to go to bed. I'm not watching this Lorenzo Styles interview. Like, the show's written. We're done. He's like, that's the one I was most excited for. It's like, oh, well, then we got another 9 minutes before we're jumping off here. So Q, let us know your takeaways from this Lorenzo Styles video.
Well, before I do that, we want to interact with y'all. So drop some questions down in the chat. I'm gonna talk Lorenzo Styles, then we'll jump into that, and then we'll talk that and what we got going on to the weekend. So got some questions, drop them down. Let us know. Let's talk some ball before we get to this work day and get out of here on this Friday. Have a good weekend. Lorenzo Styles, man, obviously talked about playing with Sonny. He was they said they didn't really talk about playing with each other in college, more so in the NFL, but he said definitely, a dream come true to play with his brother. So that was awesome. He was talking about how he started to do that transition over there at Notre Dame. And he was cross training at both before he went to full corner time, and just talked about his experience on the field will definitely help him going forward and transition over. And I'm just excited about this guy. Definitely his athleticism speaks for itself. We've seen it last year live and in person. And he played corner in high school and did very well. And that's where Ohio State recruited him at. It's been 2 years since then. So he's got a little bit of curve. He said he's getting better. It's an adjustment, so that will happen. But definitely expect him to be somewhere in that rotation this season of guys who, once we start blowing people out, we'll get in the game and get some reps. So I'm excited for Lorenzo Styles, man. I think honestly, this is especially with the struggle we've had recruiting, we're starting to get more corners in the building now. But definitely with that depth being low, I think we still only have 6 scholarship corners, maybe 6 or 7, maybe.
I'm not sure off the top
Yeah,
of my head. Yeah, 6,
yeah,
I
I think it's
think.
either 6. I think it's 6. So
Might have to
definitely,
bring another kicker over if we need reps. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
So would you rather have a
Throw
kicker?
Jake Seibert on Marvin Harrison Jr. Get him some work.
Yeah, would you rather have a kicker or have Lorenzo Styles? But yeah, man, no, I'm definitely excited for him. He's talented. He can play. We know that, and obviously put on a little highlight reel at wide receiver. So just having that transition and coming over, I'm ready to see it. More power to him. What do you think about Lorenzo Styles?
I'm super excited for him to make the transition. I thought it was interesting that he said him and Sonny really never talked about playing at Ohio State together, and it was more of a league type of thing. I found that interesting. I felt a little bad for him in the interview by the ninth Sonny question. I think he wanted to remind the beat, like, hey, I'm on the team as well. Like, but he got a lot of Sonny questions. I think someone asked him, at what point did Sonny become bigger than you in life? I think it was like 7th grade. Sonny was taller than Lorenzo. So I thought that was a funny question. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do. And like you said, I'd much rather have Lorenzo Styles out there repping on scout team than Jake Seibert or one of our 9 scholarship kickers. I'm not sure the scholarship count at cornerback, but I know Parker Fleming has at least 9 kickers on the roster this year.
Yeah, and shout out my guy Trav in the chat. He said Jihad said Lorenzo is a dog and he's raw AF right now, but he's going to get there in a year or so. So no, definitely much power to him. I'm thinking he's going to be in a year. I think we're going to have a good dominant rep that we're like, man, we're good. We took that guy, and now we got some depth. But yeah, man, let us know the questions that you have. Go ahead and throw those in there, and we'll jump into them. But yeah, definitely we got the McClellan commitment. This was it Sunday, the 13th. So we do have that commitment this
Let us know in
weekend.
the chat if we should do a live show for that one,
Yeah.
or hit us on the timeline if you want us to jump on the stream for that commitment.
Yeah, so we have that, and then also don't forget we got Buckeye BS every Sunday at 10 a.m. So you may miss us tomorrow, but we only get one day off. That's all we're allotted per week, and we will be back. We do got a super chat in here. There we go. So, man, Hardball's book, I appreciate you. How many defensive players are committed to this newest class? Actually, the answer for you is 6 right now. So,
yes, we have Miles Lockhart, 4-star corner out of Arizona. We have Peyton Pierce, 4-star linebacker. We have Bryce West, the legend from Glenville. We have Garrett Stover, 4-star linebacker. We have Aaron Scott, 5-star corner. And we have Justin Scott, 5-star defensive line
tackle. Yeah, man. So we'll talk on that in a minute. It seems a little low, especially the way Georgia be recruiting. They'll pull a defensive recruit out of hat in the. Yeah, man, a little bit of a slow. Well, Larry Johnson always starts slow, but this defensive line is moving very slow. No defensive ends committed. Guys that we wanted off the boards. Edric Houston is a must at this point. Probably have to find another defensive tackle in there because we got we missed on Jaden Jackson as well, who I thought we were going to get. So definitely got to get another one in there. Only one defensive lineman committed so far.
And our guy,
Oh, go ahead, Ron.
And our guy Rushman corrected me. We have 7. I completely missed Jalen McClain. So yes, 7.
All right, Ron, you're fired. I'm hiring Rushman to come in here and do this with me every morning. But yeah, so yeah, obviously at linebacker, missed out on KVA, so we're still in the hunt for one more there. We got Peyton Pierce, we got Garrett Stover, who I really like. Garrett Stover, guys playing safety in high school, looks like he can run, moving there. And then in the secondary, Aaron Scott, Bryce West locking it down, McLean's in secondary, so probably a couple more guys right there. So we do need to get it going. Obviously, Ohio State stops recruiting after June, so let's hope they've done enough to get us through the signing class. But we got to pick it up on this defense end, and as we get more guys in here, we'll continue to talk about it. But I appreciate the super chat, man. Thank you, Hardballs Book. I appreciate you jumping in here. Let's see what else we're talking about.
Our guy Wayne had a question. He said he knows it's a sore subject for me, but has anyone heard anything about special teams? We need to have someone back there for the kicks and punt returns, or just fair catch everything with Marv. I think there's no excuse not to have a dynamic returner back there. I mean, even if it's a Mecca, I'm super against having our best receivers back there returning kicks, but we saw Mecca get close a couple times last year. So I wouldn't mind seeing him back there, but I feel like he plays such an important role in this team, and you have so much depth at the freshman wide receiver position that one of those freshman receivers needs to be back there, or Cam Martinez. I have not heard anything about special teams, and it's kind of interesting that we're not hearing about any returners or anything like that. So I will be interested to see who they put back there, but I have yet to hear anyone. Des said Evan Pryor. I think that would be another great choice. I'd love to see him either on kickoff, punt return. I know one of the things with returners, there's a huge emphasis on just catching the ball, because you don't want to give up a turnover in the kicking game where it's just, you have the chance, you're finally getting the ball back. You don't want to give it right back to the team. So I don't know. I know one of the drills that they do is the punt catch, where they have to keep the ball in their hand as they keep sending more at them, and they just have to keep catching them with their hands full. So I don't know how Evan Pryor would stack up against the other wide receivers in a type of ball security and catching competition, but I definitely think he would be in consideration. And then I see Brandon Ennis in the chat. That is my absolute number one choice for this. I think he's so shifty in space, especially with the punt returns. You usually have to make someone miss quick, and I think he's one of the most dynamic players on the team with the ball in his hand. We see his releases. So if I had the choice, if they fired Parker Fleming and, made me a volunteer analyst for special teams, I would absolutely have Brandon Ennis back there returning kicks.
Yeah, actually, Horace Lucas stole my guy. I was actually thinking that guy we just talked to return punts in high school. Lorenzo Styles actually was a punt returner and a very good one in high school. So I would think
was a gunner. He was a gunner at Notre Dame. He did not return kicks there.
Yeah, not at Notre Dame. Talking about a high school he returned.
Yeah.
So that's an option right there. You don't want to put a Mecca back there and get him hurt. He's very important. I mean, you got I guess this walk-on guy who we know got some athleticism, got some speed. Why not throw him back there and see what he could do? Evan Pryor, I don't know about returning punts yet. I mean, I love to see him do it, but obviously he's a dynamic guy. As long as he's healthy, he can definitely do it. But Jay Ballard, man, kick return. If he's not returning kicks, what are we doing? I'll be honest. Really, what are we doing? So let us see him back there with Noah Rogers. It was another option. But those would be my options for a kick return.
Yeah, Des says Styles is pretty quick. We couldn't catch him. So
yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good. I think my internet was jumping out a little bit, but yeah, no, it's definitely. Y'all got any more questions? Throw them down. Ron, go ahead and preview the weekend one more time, and we go ahead and wrap this up.
Yeah, so we have Buckeye BS on Sunday at 10 a.m. with our guys Mike and Cam. So make sure you tune in for that. We have the Jeremiah McClellan commitment on Sunday, so we may do a live stream for that. This is the first open day of no streaming on Saturday from us. It'll be the first day we haven't been live in almost 10 days. I think tomorrow. So maybe we'll find something to jump on and talk about, or maybe do some sort of review for you, because the content never stops around here unless I kick out the power cord that runs my entire entertainment station. Q, let the people know where they could find you.
Well, folks, I appreciate y'all joining us this first Super Chat Friday. Shout out to Chris Drew. Shout out to Harbaugh's Book for chiming in. We really appreciate it, man. If you want to find me, CJ. Oh no, we had a quick question on CJ Look last night. Struggled a little bit, but he's got time to grow. He only played 2 drives, so not too much at all. So he'll be fine, and I'm sure his highlights is out there on Twitter somewhere. But yeah, so. Boy Quentin on Twitter, Flying the Jaws on Instagram. Also, I'm on here at Minor League Films on TikTok and YouTube. And what comes out? The Dracula movie comes out. It came out last night. I was supposed to see it, and I forgot something. I had to go back home, so I will have that review out tonight. I forget the dude who what's the dude that played Dr. Dre? He's in it. I forget his name, but he's in that movie. So I'll review that and have that up tonight. But yeah, that's where you can find me at. Ron, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at 2_TEES. That's 2 T's. You can find me on Twitch at the same thing. You can find me on TikTok at 2Shiesty. Before we get out of here, I just want to thank everyone that supported us this week and pulled up and watched the Buckeye roast with us. Shout out to everyone for the super chats. Thank you. We appreciate that so much. Shout out to everyone with all the questions in the chat. Please smash that like button. It helps us so much in the algorithm. It really helps our videos out. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We are so close to that goal of 1,000 subscribers. We're about 50 away. So if you're not subscribed and you're still here watching, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss any content from Best Damn Media. We appreciate all the support, and we may have a big announcement next week. So stay tuned for that as well. We appreciate you guys pulling up and always tuning in for the Buckeye Roast here with us every morning at 8 a.m. Thank you guys, and I hope you guys have a nice weekend. Hugh, go ahead and give us an Indiana commercial before we get out of here and tell us how much you love those guys.
They about to ball out this season because everybody except Ohio State second in the East. No
one wants to hear that shit.